There is a saying in Africa that goes, he who brings the kola nut brings light. I believe that saying, that proverb, is attributed to the very famous Chinua Achebe. And yes, I may have some critics out there. If I did not attribute it correctly, please forgive me. I just wanted to bring that piece of wisdom to the table because today I want to say it is Kola Nut time. Oh, yes, it is Kola Nut time. What do I mean by Kola Nut time? First things first, who am I? Well, I'm a Bantu boy. My name, Gideon Fomukwai. And yes, I'm nosy. I am quirky. I'm silly. I am very, very known to be silly. And so I want to talk about something serious today that's not as silly as who I am. And contrary to all popular belief, I am not Larry King. We do share some common interests though. Yes, Larry often speaks with a mic by the side. And yes, Larry King is famous for being a worldwide communicator. But as for me, I am just a little nosy kid from Africa who want to share something with a few people. If it's 5 people, it's 10 people, that's good enough. I am not as famous as Larry King. But today, as far as the kola nut is concerned, I want to plant my stake in the ground because I grew up eating the kola nut. And I want to say it is kola nut time now. The world needs the kola nut. More than ever before, the world needs the kola nut. If you know anything about the kola nut, I want you to drop a yes here. On a more serious note, did you know that when Coca-Cola first came about, Coca-Cola used some ingredients from the famous West and Central African kola nut in the making of Coca-Cola? Oh yes, they did. Now, in the last couple of decades, they have migrated to a more synthetic version. But that kola nut that has been eaten in Africa for thousands of years was a critical ingredient in the making of Coca-Cola. And this is why I believe this is an important topic for us to talk about today. You see, when you consume kola nut, it helps you to fight fatigue. It helps you to suppress if you're feeling nausea. It even helps you to clear your mind, especially if you're suffering from a hangover. Oh my goodness, some of my friends need that. But on a more serious note, I think the world needs the African kola nut more than ever before. It's kola nut time because when you sit in a small family, when you sit at a corner of a market and somebody walks in with a kola nut in hand, they break it up and they pass it around to everybody to take a piece. Take a piece, take a piece, take a piece, take a piece. And if it's finished, they break up the next one. They share that kola nut regardless of who is sitting there. Friends, family, foes, neighbors, regardless, they share that kola nut. And so my strong proposition here is that the world needs a kola nut because it breeds goodwill. And with goodwill comes peace. Never before did the world need so much peace. There are some issues in Mother Africa. There are some issues in Asia. There are some issues in Russia, Ukraine, and all around the world there's some strife. The world needs a kola nut today more than ever before because we will need a moment of peace, a moment of respite. Number 2, he who brings kola brings light. Therefore, the darkness that suppresses the world can be dislodged with a bite of the kola nut. Yes, I must say the kola nut is very bitter, sharp, bitter. But the good news is, with that bitterness comes a little bit of caffeine. A little bit of caffeine means a stimulant. When there's a stimulant involved, You know the good news? You can even get away from coffee. Forget about coffee. Forget about tea and all of that. Just suffice to eat a little bit of kola nut, and yes, it can also improve your digestion. And so, in other words, the darkness that is always suppressing the world, that is always clouding the world, can be completely decimated with more people sharing kola nut in the urban places, not just in the countryside. Can you imagine going into a place like a KFC, a McDonald's, you go into a Starbucks, and instead of just serving you coffee, they also give you the opportunity to buy one kola nut and share with those around the tables. Can you imagine how that's going to transform the atmosphere? Can you imagine how much goodwill that's going to bring? People are going to stop and listen. Oh my goodness, who's that guy? I don't even know that guy. Why did he share the kola nut with me? But out of that comes goodwill. We need goodwill more than ever before. We need a moment of respite in the world. And yes, kola nut helps you to reduce fatigue. So even if you're hungry, if you're having a long day, even if you're not feeling too good, you eat a bite of kola nut, guess what happens? It reduces some of that fatigue. If you had a hangover from the previous day, it helps you clear that. And yes, at the same time, it stimulates and it gives you good energy. So I want to summarize by just saying the kola nut is a well-kept African secret. Go seek it. Go find it. I'm not even going to show you a picture of it today. I'm not even going to let you know how it looks like. Go look for the West and Central African kola nut, because you're going to learn something really powerful that even Larry King did not talk about. The kola nut is a well-kept secret from the hinterlands of Africa that the world can chew up, the world can eat, and it would help us to collectively have a moment of respite, to talk to one another, to listen to one another, to congregate around the same table, to reach out to friend and foe, to reach out to neighbor, and just have a moment of goodwill. And with that goodwill, we'll usher into the world a new moment when people can look at others eyeball to eyeball. And I want to say this: he who brings kola nut does not malign his neighbor, does not marginalize his or her neighbor. He who brings kola nut brings people together, brings cheer, brings smiles, brings an atmosphere of goodwill. We need goodwill in the world today. We need kola nut. It's kola nut time. Folks, this is Gideon Fomukwai, the Story Warrior, saying, I sang out here, but please go look for a photo of kola nut. And yes, if you want to learn some of my goofisms and sillyisms, come on, join one of my programs next week on Thursday. I'll be doing a webinar talking about the power of storytelling. I don't know if I'm going to talk about kola nut, but I may talk about the bitter kola. This is the uncle, no, not the uncle, the cousin. Maybe it's a cousin to the kola nut that I just talked about. And this one has a lot of myths and mysticisms about it. I'm going to talk about this at my seminar. Thank you so much for listening to my goofisms and sillyisms. And I want to say, go out there and share kola nut with someone, because you never know whom you will touch, encourage, and uplift with your goodwill. Thank you so much. The Story Warrior is out. The Story Warrior is going to find some other person to talk to and share a story from the hinterlands of Africa. Thank you so much. Peace.